Hi there. Today I would like to talk about mental illnesses among young population, notably among teenagers, and I would like to share with you some tips to you, dear parents, how you can recognize the first symptoms if your child or a teen is anxious or depressed. With the ongoing pandemic accompanied by a state of massive psychosis, we undoubtedly witness an epidemic of mental illnesses among young population, notably anxious disorders. More often, these mental disorders and illnesses end up even with more serious state of psychotic state or suicide, unfortunately. Being a teen nowadays isn't easy at all because it's a period in their life that is full of major transitions. Hence, life can get overwhelming for them. And furthermore, hormonal changes also affect teens' mood, which is okay if it is on occasional basis. Many parents simply refuse to accept that their child has a mental illness or disorder, or may struggle with the feelings of a failure and defeat. They may wonder if their child diagnosis is a result of something they did or they didn't do along the way. And there are a variety of factors that come into play, including, of course, heredity, biology, psychological trauma, as well as environmental stress, of course. While the good news is that the most mental disorders are treatable, the tricky part is getting diagnosis because, my friends, unlike a physical injury or illness, the signs and the symptoms of mental disorders and illnesses can be very hard to identify. This is why it's so important to get informed on all of the warning signs and symptoms, and this is why actually I wish to share with you just briefly the most common mental illnesses found in teenagers and the signs and the symptoms for each of them. First of all, symptom number one can be related to eating disorder. Though our body image as a topic have a since long time, it has been a major concern for teenagers. Oh, how do I look like? Nowadays, with the social media, things are getting even worse. And in some cases, these body image issues can sometimes indeed lead to eating disorders, such as bulimia, anorexia nervosa, and binge eating disorders. The longer it goes on, the harder it becomes to treat. So pay attention. Symptoms number two is related to attention deficit hyperactivity disorder. And actually there are two different subtypes of so-called ADHD, hyperactive and inactive. And it's possible also to have a combination of both disorder. Teenagers with the hyperactive disorder will have a difficulty sitting still. They will struggle with no talking, completing their tasks, homeworks on a deadline, and will often lack focus, concentration, and will be easily distracted. Symptoms number three is mood swings. Mood disorder in teenagers include major depression, dysthymia, or persistent depressive disorder, bipolar disorder, mood disorder that is caused by a health problem, or a substance, let's say substance-induced mood disorder. And the most common symptoms are basically loss of interest in the activity, in the normal activities once your teenagers used to enjoy in, feeling of despair and helplessness, ongoing feeling of sadness, low self-esteem, feeling of guilt, sleep problems, drop in energy, feelings of not being good enough, wanting to die, and the list goes on and on. The next symptom is anxiety disorder disbalances. What does it mean? That more or less all of us experience these anxiety disorder disbalances. Still, for many people, anxiety is actually a constant struggle that interferes in their daily activities. Your teen can be therefore extremely irritable, have trouble falling asleep or staying asleep, and as a result become easily fatigued throughout the day, and it can have also, it can struggle to concentrate at school, experience muscle tension, and so on. So pay attention to this sign as well. Then the next symptom is related to so-called social anxiety. Thanks to social media and life online, it seems like most young people struggle with some level of social anxiety, and it's becoming a common problem among teens population. Because social anxiety causes teens to feel extremely self-conscious, rejection, offending others, being in a constant fear of humiliation, embarrassment, and so on and so forth. The next sign or a symptom you can recognize is linked with addiction. Addiction and mental illness may occur together because the person will turn to drugs or alcohol to self-medicate and ease their symptom. And this is why treatment is so important in adolescents who suffer from depression, anxiety, or other mental illnesses. Parents should understand that drugs or alcohol abuse doesn't only include, when it comes to drugs, illegal drugs, but it may also include prescription drug misuse and abuse. Depression is the next symptoms you can notice, because from time to time we all get sad and it is more or less okay. However, difference with depression is that this feeling of constant sadness won't go away if you are clinically depressed. So if your teen girl or boy is suffering from a depression, she or he may experience persistent feeling of anxiety, sadness, restlessness, irritation, lack of energy, and general feeling of emptiness. In addition to this, she or he may also experience changes in appetite or weight. It can also begin to be slower in their daily activities, slower than usually, struggle with memory, with concentration, a loss of interest for the activity that they loved doing it before, feeling of hopelessness, a loss of self-esteem, and in severe cases, unfortunately, they can have also suicidal thoughts, which, as I said, can be also one of the symptoms that I have listed. What you, as a parent, can do for your teen to help him or her? First of all, as soon as you notice different behavior of your child, frequent mood swings, and all symptoms as I outlined, first of all, react. Please react and take action. Anytime there has been a significant change in your teen's behavior, it is first you as a parent who should notice these changes in behavior and address with the problem. Secondly, create an open and sincere and honest communication with them. Given the fact that one of the key issues between a teen and a parent is always a lack of communication, make sure that your child knows that she or he can always rely on you and talk to you about everything and anything without being judged. Secondly, to make them more calm and comfortable, remind them that you were too, once upon a time, a teen girl who experienced similar emotions, fears, and anxiety, and invite your daughter or son to share their own experience. However, watch and be careful not to be too critical and accusing them of anything that can only worsen the situation, so they, as a consequence, is that they can only isolate themselves even more in their own virtual world with no courage and motivation to share with you their experiences, fears, and concerns. Furthermore, do not get offended or upset if they insist that nothing is wrong with them, as many teens also become ashamed or embarrassed or afraid when touching upon eventually mental disorder or talking about illness or problems. If, however, you cannot make it yourself for whatever reason, and you are concerned about your teen boy or girl, that he or she is struggling with mental disease or disorder, please schedule an appointment with your doctor or the counselor or psychotherapist, and with me as a psychotherapist of a holistic psychotherapy, holistic psychology and integrative psychology, because they will likely be treated with a combination of eventual medication or counseling. Go first to visit your doctor. If you happen not being able to reach your doctor, please give me a ring, send an email, explain your problem, and get in touch with me. I'm sure we can deal with your problem. Good luck.